Everyone remembers Joseph as the man in the palace. Few remember the boy in the field. Before the power, before the authority, before he saved a nation, Joseph was just a 17-year-old shepherd. He was one of 12 sons born to a man named Jacob. 12 brothers, one large family, and like many large families, there were tensions. Joseph was not the oldest, he was not the strongest, he was not the most experienced, but he was different. His father loved him deeply. Some say because Joseph was born in Jacob's old age. Others say because Joseph reminded him of someone precious. Whatever the reason, the love was obvious, too obvious. Jacob gave Joseph a special robe, not ordinary clothing, a robe that signaled favor, distinction, preference. And in a house filled with brothers, favor can feel like injustice. The resentment began quietly. Then something happened that changed everything. Joseph started having dreams. In one dream, he and his brothers were binding bundles of grain in a field. Suddenly, his bundle stood upright, and the bundles belonging to his brothers bowed down to it. In another dream, the sun, the moon, and 11 stars bowed down to him. Joseph did not fully understand what the dreams meant, but he shared them. And when he shared them, it sounded like this: "One day you will bow to me." Even if that wasn't his intention, that's how it felt to his brothers. Now jealousy turned into anger. Anger turned into hatred, and hatred began looking for opportunity. One day, the brothers were far from home, watching the flocks in open fields. Jacob sent Joseph to check on them. Joseph walked toward his brothers wearing the robe. They saw him from a distance, and before he even reached them, they began planning. "Here comes the dreamer." That sentence carried mockery, bitterness, resentment. At first, they plotted to kill him, but one brother suggested something different. "Let's throw him into a pit instead." A pit was a deep, empty well, dark, dry, impossible to climb out of alone. They grabbed him, tore off the robe, and threw him inside. Imagine the shock. One moment you're walking toward your family, the next you're at the bottom of a hole, looking up at their faces. And then they walked away. Soon a group of traveling merchants passed by. Instead of killing Joseph, they sold him, their own brother, for silver. Joseph was carried away to Egypt, a foreign land far from home. He had done nothing wrong. He had simply dreamed. In Egypt, Joseph was sold again, this time to a powerful official named Potiphar. Potiphar worked directly under the king of Egypt. Joseph entered this house as a slave. No status, no rights, no family. But something remarkable happened. Joseph worked faithfully. He was responsible, organized, trustworthy. Over time, Potiphar noticed, and slowly Joseph was promoted within the household, from slave to manager. Everything in the house was placed under his control. It seemed like stability had returned. Maybe the nightmare was ending, but another test was coming. Potiphar's wife began noticing Joseph. He was young, capable, respected. She attempted to seduce him. Joseph refused, not once, but repeatedly. One day, when no one else was around, she grabbed him. Joseph ran, but she kept his outer garment and used it as evidence. She accused him of assault. It was a lie. But in that culture, her word carried power. Joseph was thrown into prison again. This is where the story becomes uncomfortable. Joseph was betrayed by his brothers, faithful in slavery, then punished for integrity. Many people would have become bitter. Joseph did not. In prison, he did what he always did. He served. He organized. He helped. Eventually, the prison warden trusted him and placed him in charge of other prisoners. Even in confinement, Joseph rose. One day, two important prisoners arrived. They both had troubling dreams. Joseph interpreted them accurately. One would be restored to his position, the other would not survive. Joseph asked the restored man, "Remember me when you leave," but he was forgotten. 2 more years passed, 2 silent years. Then the king of Egypt had disturbing dreams. None of his advisors could explain them. Suddenly, the man Joseph had helped remembered. There is a prisoner who can interpret dreams. Joseph was brought out of prison, cleaned, and presented before the king. The king described the dreams: 7 healthy cows, 7 thin cows, 7 full heads of grain, 7 withered heads. Joseph explained, 7 years of abundance are coming, followed by 7 years of severe famine. He didn't stop there. He proposed a solution. Store grain during the good years. Prepare for the famine. The king was impressed, not just by interpretation, but by wisdom. And in a single day, Joseph was elevated from prisoner to second in command over Egypt. Only the king ranked above him. Years later, famine struck the region. Even Joseph's brothers, back in their homeland, ran out of food. They traveled to Egypt seeking help, and without realizing it, they stood before the brother they betrayed. The dream had come true. They bowed. Joseph had power now. He could punish them, expose them, destroy them. Instead, he wept. He revealed himself, and he forgave them. He told them something powerful. You intended to harm me, but what happened was used for good. This is the deeper lesson. The pit did not cancel the dream. The prison did not erase the promise. Each painful season positioned him. The betrayal sent him to Egypt. The slavery taught him administration. The prison sharpened his discernment. The palace required all of it. Joseph's story is not about instant success. It is about long preparation, about surviving seasons that make no sense, about trusting that delay is not denial. And maybe the real question is, what if the place you feel abandoned is actually the place you are being prepared? Because sometimes the path to purpose goes through the pit, the prison, and only then the palace. If this story changed how you see your season, subscribe to Sacred Depth, because beneath every familiar story, there is always a deeper truth waiting to be uncovered.